Hello everyone, I am Zerix, Lord Sentinel, and welcome back to CG4! After a brief hiatus, we are back! When we last saw them, the pirates had been attacked by the Corsairs, and seemed to have been dealt a serious blow. However, the pirates brought the hammer down on the Corsairs, flexing their military might on them. It began with the Widowmaker flotilla and the Splinter, taking a mast off of the Osiris. Then, the Agnes Crystallis got in on the action, using her two 2S cannons to hit the Osiris with a Stinkpot Specialist, as well as a Chain Shot. This means that the Osiris can use none of her many Creel abilities, and cannot be given a move action on her next turn. Then the Stormcloud, a custom 10-mast ship with the fog hopping ability built in, got into action. Emerging from the fog, the giant ship used Tia Dalma to cancel the ability of Ibrahim Vosley on the Giza, allowing the ship to be shot at. This allowed the Stormcloud to go 4 for 8 against the Giza, and also eliminated a mast from the nearby Sphinx. The Eagle and Akualapua then both hit the Giza to dismast the ship. Slightly to the north of the Giza, the Darkhawk II managed to land a hit on the Osiris, and capture the Red Star, interrupting her scuttle. The pirates then rolled to scuttle her, and succeeded! The Black Pearl then weighed in, sailing in from afar with her tremendous speed and landed even more hits on the Osiris. The pirates then used a UT to give the Splinter an extra action, which allowed the galley to shoot 3 more times at the Osiris. The Splinter went 3 for 3 to take the Osiris down to 1 mast standing. The Corsairs are in trouble, with several more pirate gunships sailing in from their home island to the north, including the mighty Zeus. That's not all the pirates did on their turn, though. The warring tribe succeeded at Jack Hawkins' SAT, allowing the ship to fly across the water and dismast the Noble Swan. The tribes used her galley keyword to touch the Swan, taking the Plague UT, which had no effect thanks to Jack Hawkins' crew protection. 2 pirate ships are moving in to support the tribes, but it appears that will be unnecessary. The Cursed move their ships around, gathering resources as they have done the past few turns, and with the Grand Misfortune leaving her berth at the home island in anticipation of the oncoming Americans. The Wisp continues to struggle to exit the fog in the southeastern corner of the map. The Viking gunships that have been heading to the contested island with the pirates turn around, witnessing the dominance the pirates have displayed against the Corsairs. The Corsairs and Vikings had agreed to a combined strike against the pirates, which led to an anti-pirate alliance. However, the Vikings could not get their gunships into action as quickly as the Corsairs could, and also lacked the necessary fleet infrastructure to give their ships adequate extra actions. The Vikings and Corsairs are still allied, but their combined forces might not be enough to stand against the might of the pirates. The Vikings did convert some resources at the end of their turn, and launched the Wiglaf with a captain at their home island. The Corsairs attempted to fight back, successfully setting the Darkhawk II on fire and dismasting the Agnes Crystallis, as well as extinguishing the fire on the Sphinx. However, the rest of their turn was rather dismal. The Giza got her extra action and attempted to steal the Resurrection Codex from the Red Star. In a boarding action of mastless ships, the Giza lost, which eliminated all of her crew. Dismayed, the Giza nevertheless maneuvered to board the Red Star again, this time winning the boarding action and taking the Codex from the captured Red Star. Despite this success, the pirates are likely to capture the Giza and the other Corsair ships in the immediate area. Elsewhere, Corsair support ships turn away from the battle zone and head south. The Corsairs have spent some of their best ships on this operation, and have ultimately failed. Gold galleys crowd around the large textiles island that is shared with the English. The Corsairs are now in rebuilding mode, trying to gather as much gold as they can before the resources change value. The Americans continue to send ships west toward the Cursed. The Jarvis, Julius Caesar, and Boston are joined by the Enterprise, with the Bonhomme Richard not far behind. The American gold system continues to bring them valuable metals, with the Providence unloading a large cargo of them at the home island. The Dutch continue to move about peacefully. They are so far managing to share a resource island with the French. The mercenaries are still a ways away from their home, but they have a pile of metals on their home island that are quite valuable, with more eventually on the way as the Matuku loads some from an island to the southeast. After a brief rules gaffe, the French continue as they have been, gathering food, which is currently the lowest value resource. The Bonchance continues to sail east, though to what point is unknown. The Spanish repair the Colector del Dia and land the Joya del Sol, La Monarca, and San Pedro at home, giving them a decent amount of gold to work with. The Algeciras and Diablo move with the Corazon Dorado, heading in a westerly direction. The Santa Ana has emerged from a whirlpool by the Spices Island, where the Alquimista has loaded a full hold of the resource. The Morning Star has entered the archipelago proper and is just short of the Textiles Island. The Seeker of the Conglomerate is to the north, loading gold from the Gold Island. At the end of their turn, the Spanish cash in their stocks of spices and use it with gold from the Gold Island to launch 2 ships. The Fuerza de Dios, with Almirante Alejandro Garcia Fernandez, who combines captain, helmsman, and fleet admiral into one crew. Also aboard the Fuerza is an oarsman. The De Leon with a helmsman and oarsman. The Spanish gain another fleet admiral, as well as a hardy and durable gold runner in the De Leon. The Jades sail as fast as possible away from the Noble Swan, leaving the ship to the pirates. The Sea Crane makes land on an unexplored gold island. The Crane does not have an explorer, and will have to wait for her next turn to explore the island. The Gaki returns to the Conglomerate home island, while the Ignition begins her return trip with a hold of textiles. The Rehi is a move action away from a food island. The Seeker uses the same action twice to sail away from the archipelago, with another full hold of regular gold. At the end of their turn, the Conglomerates spend a good chunk of their gold to launch the RHS Arrow, with the Mogu Chief and his associated native canoes. The canoes are placed at the Textiles Island that the Ignition has found. Each canoe has 2 cargo spaces and a good base move, giving the Conglomerate a much-needed gold runner boost. The Dawn Treader and Hyena make for the English home island. The Hyena is carrying a hold of gold, while the Treader has loaded spices from the island that the Hyena discovered and the English share with the Corsairs. The rest of the English fleet makes for the large Textiles Island that is now shared with the Corsairs. The pirates begin the post-battle cleanup, dismasking the Sphinx and Osiris. The Red Star sank due to scuttle. Tia Dalma on the Storm Cloud cancelled the oarsman ability of the Osiris to allow the Black Pearl to capture the ship, which then began rowing for the pirates' home island alongside the Sphinx, which was also captured. The town on the Textiles Island was still Corsair, and the Akua Lapua attempted to take it back for the pirates, but failed at the attempt, losing one of her masts in the process. The much smaller Star of Siam then tried, and succeeded. The real excitement for the pirates, however, was to the south, where the warring tribes captured the Noble Swan, giving the pirates access to Nemo's plans, one of the most powerful UTs in the game. With it, the pirates are able to reuse any UT that would remove itself from the game, including the various rune UTs and some other exciting things. This move could have ramifications for the rest of the game. At the end of their turn, the pirates launched several ships. The Tempest, bottom left, with Hammersmith, Sean Cannonball Gallows, Amos Carter, Henry Turner, a face-down crew, and Eert von Toyle, who gave them a set of Madagascar native canoes, which were placed around the Spice Island the Spanish had been visiting. The Shadow's Hand, with captain, helmsman, oarsman, a face-down crew, and a face-down equipment. The Phantom, with 2 face-down crew. The pirates have some kind of project in the works, codenaming it GMS. The Wisp finally emerges from the fog and docks at the Fogden Island in the southeastern corner. She lacks an explorer and will have to wait until her next turn to explore the island. Elsewhere, the Cursed had enough of the Americans creeping in, especially after they got no response from the Americans when they asked what they were doing. Deciding that the Americans could not be trusted, the Cursed decided to preemptively attack. The repulsive waste emerges from the fog and slams headlong into the Enterprise, killing all of her crew by giving the ship plague. The Devil's Sneer then emerged from the fog and rammed into the Jarvis, revealing the explosives UT. The Cursed rolled to see if the explosives would go off, but they did not, with a roll of 2 coming instead of the needed 4 through 6. However, the pirates suddenly used the Runes of Thor to change the die roll to a 6, and then used Nemo's plans in the Noble Swan to turn the UT face down again. This caused the explosives to go off, eliminating the Devil's Kiss and the Jarvis from the game. The Devil's Storm then emerged from the fog bank, and positioned herself off the stern of the Boston, managing to eliminate 1 mast. Then the Grand Misfortune weighed in, revealing power cannons in the Fireworks UT, which would give all of her cannons plus L range, and plus 2 to cannon rolls for this turn. The Misfortune was able to bring all 6 of her cannons to bear on the Julius Caesar, who went 5 for 6 to bring the Caesar down to 1 mast standing. The Misfortune is protected somewhat by the Metal Hull UT, which requires a cannon roll of 6 to hit the ship. The Cursed Strike is quite effective, with 2 American ships sunk and an additional 2 ships crippled. The deliverance of the pirates has emerged from a whirlpool south of the action and is observing the goings-on. The Vikings take their turn, gathering gold, and attempting to steer clear of the pirates. Their fleet is minuscule in comparison, and they would likely not survive a direct conflict with the pirates. The Corsairs attempt to recoup their losses, sending ships south to the Textiles Island. After what seems like a lifetime at sea, the Prins Willem finally returns to the Dutch home island. A majority of the fleet is gathering luxuries from the island shared with the French. The Lion sails broadside to the Ridderschap and runs up a flag of truce. Negotiations may soon begin. The American strike force retreats, attempting to put some distance between themselves and the Cursed. At the end of their turn, however, the Americans cash in some of the metals they have been sitting on and launch a few ships from their home island, all with a full complement of face-down crew. USS Mercury, USS Lamont, USS Kettering, and the Black Watch. The Kettering has canceling built into it, as well as serious firepower from her longship Keyword. The Mercury and Lamont are both subs that will be difficult to deal with, and the Black Watch is one of their best 5-masted gunships. The mercenaries are so far the only faction to have not launched anything, though that may soon change. They have metals stocked on their home island, and more on the way in the whole of the Matuku. The French continue to run food, with several ships going to and from the island. The Ville de Paris sits at the home island, waiting for the French to have enough gold to launch the ship properly. The Bon Chance continues east, happening upon the pirates and the captured Noble Swan. The Spanish are surprised and suspicious of the pirate canoes that have sprung up at their Spices Island. The Algeciras is directed south, while the Corazon Dorado continues east. The Alquimista makes full sail for the home island, while the Santa Ana is given a fleet action to make land at home and unload her haul of textiles from the archipelago. The Collector and Joya del Sol repair damaged masts, while the De Leon loads some gold from the home island. The Monarca, San Pedro, and Saragossa sail south, toward the Spices Island, while the Fuerza de Dios makes to follow the Algeciras and Diablo. In the archipelago, the Morning Star makes land, loading a full hold of textiles. At the end of their turn, the Spanish cash in their textiles and combine it with some of the gold they had on their home island to launch the San Salvador, with Capitan Santiago Navarro, who allows not one, but 2 tribal chieftains to come aboard. One is for the regular set of Spanish canoes, as seen in Savage Shores. The other is for an unreleased set of canoes that they would have gotten if Savage Shores had not been split in 2. Both sets of canoes are launched in the archipelago, with the regular versions coming into play at the same island as the Morning Star, and the other set coming into play at the Gold Island in the center. The Sea Crane explores the Lumber Island for the Jades, which the Hai Peng found the turn previous. The Crane is joined by the Virtuous Wind, while the Sea Duck makes her way to the island. The Gaki and Windfish make sail to return to the archipelago, while the Arrow sets sail to meet the incoming Ignition. The Rechier makes land at the Food Island, but will need to wait a turn to explore it for the Conglomerate. The Seeker is returning from the archipelago, sped along with a successful same action twice. The HMS Everjust and Lady Provost make land at the Textiles Island, while the Aberdeen Baron and Hound begin their return trip home. A majority of the English fleet is incoming to the island, attempting to get as much of the resource as possible. The Dawn Treader is within spitting distance of the English home island, while the Hyena is still a turn or 2 away. And that wraps up this report. The Corsair attack on the pirates has been completely and utterly repelled, and the pirates have made huge strides for themselves, emerging as a dominant faction, not just in the north, but in the game. The Cursed have struck first against the Americans, crippling their advance force. But the Americans are yet to get going, and have a stream of valuable resources coming in, while the Cursed do not. Yet. If you want to see what happens next, make sure you're subscribed. If you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.